Hi Tom, can you tell us a little bit more about you and your practice?
Hi, Ulton's a full-service accounting firm. We're based in Bundaberg, Maryborough, Hervey Bay, Gladstone, and now in Brisbane. We offer services from financial planning all the way through to bookkeeping, and we've been around for just on 100 years.
What were the reasons you joined the B-Star Viva Alliance Partner Program?
We've been part of the program for a very long time, but I think more actively in the last couple of years. And I think ultimately we were trying to find a partner to help us bridge the gap between tax and compliance and advisory. And I think with the RAVDA we've definitely sort of done that. Yeah.
Your practice is very active using B-Star's risk and value driver assessment tool, otherwise known as the RAVDA, to create client engagement, business advisory opportunities, and ultimately practice growth. In your view, what makes the RAVDA unique?
We've been on this sort of journey of trying to get people to have sort of house business discussions for a very long time, and ultimately what we lacked was a bit of structure and some really good ideas around what questions to ask our clients. The RAVDA is unique because it gives us sort of 80 excuses to have good conversations, and gives our client managers a lot of content to discuss. Yeah, it's great.
Can you describe how your practice uses the RAVDA with existing clients? Starting with, how do you identify the clients for the RAVDA?
We go through a process of really evaluating each client on a client-by-client basis within our database, and go through with the managers, with the senior accountants, as to whether or not those clients would benefit from a RAVDA. And it's an opt-out discussion. It's everyone benefits from a RAVDA. And we're really trying to understand which ones wouldn't benefit from a RAVDA, so we can exclude them from the process. But more often than not, if it's a business client, it gets a RAVDA.
Who's actually responsible for introducing the RAVDA to your business clients?
Our business services managers and our client managers are the ones responsible for introducing the process.
And how do you actually get the process or the RAVDA to the clients? Do you send it to them first, or do your managers give them a call? What's the engagement piece to get a client to complete the RAVDA with your managers?
Yeah, so we encourage there to be either a phone call or an email, and usually it's on a different subject. Firstly, at the moment we're going through end of year tax, and on the back of that we're having RAVDA discussions with our sort of clients, but also we've been using these as tools to get more information from an advisory point of view. So whenever we have an advisory referral, we direct it first. So it's our first port of call. So it's really around an existing sort of product or a new service that a client's looking for, then we engage a RAVDA.
Do you ever get any pushback from your managers to introduce the RAVDA to their clients?
Yes.
And how do you overcome that? Because that's a common barrier.
Look, we've been working on this process now in quite intensively since probably late May. We meet regularly, we meet weekly with all the managers and a few of our senior accountants on the RAVDA process. And it's something that's constantly evolving. I think the more confidence that the managers have in the process, the easier it is for them to introduce it to their clients. We had some early wins, and I think that was really good and really helpful in moving forward.
Do you charge a client for a RAVDA meeting?
No, not existing clients. Existing clients, we don't charge a RAVDA meeting. The initial RAVDA meeting, we use it as an excuse to get to know our clients better. It's just as beneficial for us as it is for them, and so we sort of see it as something that we're doing that's mutually beneficial. Once we get it into the process though of annual engagement, we do then build it into the price. Yeah.
How long does the initial RAVDA meeting take with a client?
It can take an hour. It can take 4 hours. It really depends on the level of complexity within the client group. I mean, we've done them now with clients that had 5 or 6 directors, 5 or 6 family members that have all completed RAVDA together. We mashed them all together using that alignment tool, and that was a meeting that took 4 hours, but was incredibly beneficial for all parties. We've done one for a little sort of maintenance business in Western Queensland, and that took 45 minutes to go through, but just as beneficial for the client. Yeah.
You strongly believe the RAVDA is teaching your managers how to introduce or raise business advisory questions in client meetings. Can you expand on this?
This is something actually that's come about by it's a happy coincidence. We never got into the RAVDA to teach our managers. That was not something that was the intention. It was to have better conversations, and it was to use it as a tool to structure the conversations. But as a result, our managers now have a far greater understanding, greater interest, I think, in the areas of people's businesses that maybe we weren't so concerned with before.
3 common barriers we hear about the RAVDA is clients won't complete it as it's too long. Clients will ask us, why haven't we asked these questions before? And staff are afraid to go through a RAVDA with a client because their practice can't provide all the solutions to the risks identified in the RAVDA. What's your response to these barriers?
I think that answering the question around the clients not prepared to answer the questions before the client's seen the RAVDA is pretty dangerous. We had a lot of that pushback internally. We thought it was too long, but getting it out there and getting it into the hands of the clients, look, not everyone completes it in the set 6 weeks that we had to turn these things around internally. But the ones that do find a lot of benefit in doing it. I don't think that you're going to get 100% success rate every time you ask your clients to do this, the first time you ask them. We're working on sort of the model that this year we might get 40% success, and next year we'll get more, and the year after we'll get more than that. It's a long-term play for us in terms of having better conversations. I think the problem in getting into the situation of not having all the services to deal with all the risks isn't really the point of the RAVDA. It's about asking the right questions, and if you come up with the 3 or 4 main priorities within the business that need to be fixed, you don't need to supply all those solutions. You just need to be the guy or the girl that finds solutions or helps find the solutions. Project manage, these risks with the client.
Generally, what's the feedback from clients who have completed a RAVDA with your team?
The feedback is always positive. We've had instances where we've used RAVDAs to overcome some sort of internal family conflict around business and defining strategy and direction, and that was a positive outcome. Some clients just really enjoy the process of going through and answering the questions, because questions they never had to ask themselves before. So even if it doesn't necessarily result in a RAVDA meeting straight away, usually we get a response back saying, look, I've already identified 4 or 5 things out of this myself, and I'm working on it. I'd love to come in and talk to you more about those things so we can keep them moving forward. So it's a positive outcome for the client, definitely.
What are your expectations in relation to RAVDA activity across your practice?
Ultimately, we want to have 100% of our business clients doing RAVDAs, but that's a really big task, especially when you've gone from zero, when you start at zero. So this year we've identified 150 business groups that we'd like to do RAVDAs with, and we'd like to see that sort of 40% of those are completed by the end of the year. You know, they're all sent out, but we don't expect them all to be completed. There is a bit of pushback out there, but if we can get 40% of those back and a meeting with 40% of them, we're really happy with that outcome.
As you know, we are encouraging our alliance partners to use the RAVDA to change their practice revenue mix. How has the RAVDA benefited your practice growth in terms of new fees or flow on work?
I mean, we have an existing consultancy and advisory practice within our sort of broader practice. Our RAVDA, every discussion that we've had has brought fees to the broader team, whether it's bookkeeping, HR consulting, you know, or business advisory, or wealth management. You know, every single conversation that we have ends up with more fees. You know, it's highly beneficial to what we're doing.
And what about existing client relationship? Has it made the relationship more sticky?
Look, I think so. It's hard to say at this point whether or not there's any sort of real evidence as to say that it's more sticky, but we are certainly doing more for our clients across a broader range of services within our firm. That's how we rate stickiness. So yeah, internally. So yeah.
And what about your own staff development? Because it's really important to give staff the opportunities to do more business advisory work. What's been the reaction from your staff?
Oh, positive. I mean, we're now discussing these things in depth every week, and instead of having discussions about what we think our clients' problems were, we now have discussions about what our clients' problems are.
And new clients, I understand that you use the RAVDA for new clients. Can you explain the response or the process that you use?
Look, it's just part of our new client onboarding process. It's part of our getting to know you process with new clients and getting them to know us. You know, introduces them to all the services within the firm, basically.
We talked earlier about how you've embedded the RAVDA as part of your process when onboarding new clients. Can you give us any examples where you've had some wins with a new client using the RAVDA? We've had new clients, a new client specifically that had used the RAVDA. We'd given them the RAVDA on the way in. They had completed it, or hadn't even really completed all the answers. They completed 90% of the answers, rang us up and said, look, I've identified 4 or 5 things I need to go and sort out right now. But can I meet with you, in December to talk about strategic planning, to talk about CFO services, and get those things moving. So that we thought that was a big win for us, purely out of the fact that they identified their own problems and still saw us as the expert to fix what they had coming down the line. So that's really great. A lot of the feedback we get from our alliance partners, they say when they go through a RAVDA with a new client, they realise that they can get other services apart from accounting and tax from the practice. Is that sort of the similar feedback that you get from new clients when you go through the RAVDA?
Yes. I mean, we've been in the advisory consulting space for a while, and we've done a pretty good job at talking to our clients about what we do. But I think the RAVDA allows them to see, and us to showcase a little bit of problem solving with the client, so they can see how we would work together if they were to take on more advisory work, and that's been really good for us as well.